Jared Cannonier versus Sean Strickland takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 66. Cannonier versus Strickland, and I can't wait for this middleweight main event to end the year. This is the last fight of the entire year, and now we're going to have to wait 4 weeks afterwards. I have no idea what I'm going to do with myself after this fight, but I do believe this is going to be a fun one. They're very good dance partners for each other to make for a very exciting fight. I don't see Jared Cannonier playing too much on the outside. I think he is going to go after Sean Strickland and try and find that chin, which is often left up in the air. I mean, Strickland kind of fights like a Paddy Pimblett of the middleweight division, but a little bit more technical here and there, especially in terms of like his straight punches. He does have very good jabs, very good right hands behind him at times as well. He doesn't really put much into his shots, so he can get off some really nice combos at like angles that people don't expect, and sort of like rhythms and timings that people don't expect as well. We saw him do that against Brendan Allen. But I reckon Jared Cannonier's got this one in the bag, to be honest with you, because again, Strickland does leave that chin up high. He's going to be a little bit taller than Jared Cannonier as well. So I just can see Jared Cannonier landing a big shot over the top of Sean Strickland's jab or his right hand and just catching him on that chin. And I know Sean Strickland spars a lot, and he mustn't get KO'd a lot in sparring, because otherwise there's no way he would be able to spar that much. But it's different. It's different with the 4-ounce gloves. And Strickland, sure, he can see the shots coming in sparring and he can take them well. And we always hear about the good sparring sessions he's having with guys like Magomed Ankalaev and Marvin Vettori and stuff like that. But Jared Cannonier in 4-ounce gloves, you can't take clean shots off of him too often. And I just think Sean Strickland's going to take at least 5 of them around. You know what I'm saying? And how many of those 5 are going to not KO him is the question. So I think Sean Strickland's going to do okay early on, scrap with Cannonier for a bit, but I think Cannonier is going to break him down, go to his body a little bit as well, get Strickland reach into the body. We saw that against Alex Pereira. The game plan has been written against Sean Strickland now on how to deal with him on the feet. I think Adesanya could figure it out. I think Whittaker could figure it out as well. Maybe even a Darren Till. I mean, I hate to even bring him up because he's doing nothing but lose. But this is how bad Strickland's tendencies are on the feet. Maybe Darren Till could figure it out. I'm joking. No, Darren Till would just feint at range and only throw straight left hands and rear elbows off the left side as well. So, never mind. I take it back. Even Till couldn't figure it out. But Pereira did. He went to the body with his lead hand. You know what I mean? In an orthodox position. He went to the body, and Strickland started patting down towards the hand and trying to sort of brush it away. Yoel Romero did this quite a bit, but he could get away with it because he's Yoel Romero and his neck is infused in such a way to where he literally can't be KO'd for some unfair reason that arguably shouldn't be allowed in terms of competing in the sport against real humans who aren't genetically engineered to not be KO'd. But either way, Sean Strickland, I reckon he's getting chinned. And not only that, I was watching back the Brendan Allen fight because they posted it on YouTube. And just before he got the KO on Brendan Allen, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, he was feeling them leg kicks. Like, Brendan Allen was landing really good calf kicks on Sean Strickland. The right side of my mustache is constantly curling into my mouth and making it very uncomfortable for myself. Either way, the calf kicks were getting to Sean Strickland in that Brendan Allen fight. And I know he did well against Brendan Allen. It was basically him just walking down a very basic styled Brendan Allen and picking his shots on him and just peppering away at the face with like 2-3 punch combinations. And he actually looked really good in that fight. Followed up afterwards eventually and got the finish in round 2 where he really started putting the pressure on Brendan Allen and making stuff happen there. But Cannonier is very, very risk averse in a way. Like, he doesn't get caught clean much, and we saw that against Israel Adesanya. He's not going to throw himself into the fire and just allow himself to be hit to get one on you. He's got power, but he doesn't just bulldoze forward to where Strickland could maybe land a bunch of shots on him before Cannonier gets to him. Cannonier's going to chop at the legs at range. He'll go to the body with some kicks as well, and I think that could be a big thing here because Strickland ain't going to shoot a takedown on Jared Cannonier. We know what Strickland likes to do. When people have massive KO power, he likes to walk straight towards them like an NPC and eat big power shots on the chin until he goes out cold. It's a weird game plan, but it's a Sean Strickland game plan, and it annoys me that this is his game plan because I really want to see Sean Strickland at another press conference. And if he loses this one, I don't see him at many press conferences moving forward. You know what I mean? I see him taking on a really dangerous up-and-comer that's probably going to have a really good chance of beating him and maybe fading off into obscurity. But I don't know, dude. I hope Strickland wins. Cannonier's really old. We've already seen him against Adesanya. He was very boring in the build-up of that fight as well, whereas Sean Strickland would make it really fun. I just want to see him at another press conference. Torch Adesanya again. Maybe we could see it. Maybe if Adesanya loses the rematch to Pereira and Strickland wins this one, they could even make that fight. But I just don't think Strickland gets this one done. Cannonier, really good leg kicks. We saw him use them against Robert Whittaker. If you want an example of them, Cannonier uses them very, very well. And Cannonier did okay with the kicks against Adesanya in moments as well. He landed his own body kicks in that fight as well. And yeah, against Whittaker, watching him chew up that leg, he's good at it, man. He really is good at mixing up his attack, going to the body as well. And I don't see Strickland taking the shots that Kelvin Gastelum could, even. You know what I mean? Strickland's got that dainty little chin, leaves it up in the air. Sometimes he gets a little bit like, he'll just sort of chuck his arms out as people come in. Like when they really put pressure on him, he kind of just throws his arms out there and hopes that they get tangled up in his arms and aren't able to land a clean punch. But I've seen so many people land clean shots on Sean Strickland. It's worrying. And Cannonier hits different. You know what I mean? He could KO heavyweights. He could KO light heavyweights. And again, against Whittaker, he looked great. You know what I mean? He landed 41% of his strikes to the legs of Whittaker. And he landed 53 strikes in that fight. So he was chewing up the legs of Whittaker, especially early on and in the second round. And if he can do it to Whittaker, who's bouncing around with good footwork, I think he can do it to Strickland, who's literally going to put his arms out there and walk towards Jared Cannonier like he's feeling his way around in the dark for a light switch. It's such a weird... I don't know how... This is just such a... The fact that Drickus move... I'm going to trim this. I'm actually going to trim it off. Get out of my lip. Either way. The fact that Sean Strickland can even be at the top of the middleweight division... It truly does speak to how bad that division is. Is it just me that's noticing this? Drickus du Plessis is not that good at... Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's good, but I always find myself saying stuff like, oh yeah, he's good, lucky he's at middleweight, because he wouldn't... Like, that technique wouldn't last anywhere else. Like, even at light heavyweight, that stuff would be figured out pretty quick, I reckon. But at middleweight, these guys seem to just be able to make it to the top with no, like, talent to their game. And then it's just Whittaker and Adesanya, and then Pereira's that X factor that can beat Adesanya, you know? But yeah, it's confusing. Like, Vittori's literally got a 1-2, and other fighters haven't figured that out yet. And he's at the top of the middleweight division. Like, Whittaker schooled him, Adesanya just picked him apart and schooled him a little bit as well. And then you got Strickland feeling his way around, occasionally pumping a jab out there. Trying to jab a light switch on in the dark, and he can't see where he's going. His chin wide up in the air. Like, it's just crazy to me. I just don't see a world where Cannonier don't connect on that chin. And if he does, it's out for Strickland because he just got KO'd. And I think he's for sure going to be thinking about that as well, because Strickland knows what he's in there with. You know what I mean? He already mentions it in the build-up. Like, he's got a big scary guy in front of him who could KO him, and he just got KO'd as well. And he don't take time off sparring either after getting KO'd. I'm sure he was back in there the week after doing some heavy sparring and stuff like that. So I reckon Cannonier's got this one. Going to the body early on with some jabs and right hands and rear hands. Chopping at the legs as well. Mixing up his attack. And then I think eventually in round 2, Strickland will get a little bit more comfortable to start scrapping with him a little bit. Both guys will start landing. And then, boom, big shot out of nowhere. Jared Cannonier puts out Sean Strickland in round 2 and ends the year with a bang. Yeah, I don't see this one going too well for Sean Strickland. I'm definitely trimming that hair because that has been a massive annoyance for the entirety of this video. But either way, good stuff. Looking forward to it. And this is the last fight of the year. The last fight of the year, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself for 4 weeks. I don't know. I mean, I guess Bellator's got that New Year's thing, right? I think Bellator has like a New Year's show. No, Rising and Bellator have a New Year's show. Bellator MMA versus Rising. So maybe I'll cover that. They got Pitbull versus Herbst. AJ McKee versus Roberto De Souza. Juan Archuleta versus Suchal Kim. Kyogi Horiguchi versus Ugyukubo. Takeda versus Rabadanov. Like, they've got a couple decent fights, and I'm sure a few more are going to be added to that as well. But they got some fights that maybe I'll cover. AJ McKee, Pitbull, Juan Archuleta, Kyogi Horiguchi on the card. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be lost. I'm going to be lost for 4 weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do for content. I'm worried. I'm scared. I'll probably just end up streaming a bunch more. There'll be no excuse. Normally, I don't stream as much because I'm trying to plan content out and get content out first and then stream, and it takes me long to get the content done and even build myself up to make a video and stuff like that. But with lack of content, video format-wise on the channel, I guess I'll just be streaming way, way more. That'll be the plan anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the UFC just makes a whole bunch more stupid decisions that I can make videos out of, because they seem to do very well in terms of views. But yeah, I got Cannonier. But if Strickland wins, and he's got a bit of a reach advantage to work with as well. But if Strickland wins, big respect if he somehow pulls this off with his style of fighting. If he somehow wins this, massive respect. And I could see him maybe having a chance. He does have very damaging punches for some reason. Like, most people, they hit really hard and they land a bunch of shots, but then their opponent's got like a completely clear face with no damage on it. We just saw that with Gordon, landing a bunch of clean shots on Pimlet, and Pimlet just looked like he hasn't even been in a fight for some reason. But Strickland, when he lands a couple shots, like, people's eyes start swelling up, their nose starts swelling up as well, lips start getting busted. Like, Strickland really does get damage off on his opponents with his hands. I don't know why that is. Maybe he's just got those little, like, sharp knuckles that dig into the orbital and, like, really irritate the face and get it all swollen. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier round 2 TKO. Toodle pip. See you later. Goodbye.